Hi, I'm Kristen, and today I'll be talking about how, for many experiencers, contact is not always within your control. So, as far as non experiencers go who haven't already had contact, it's a big question mark as to whether them setting an intention or engaging in CE5 will result in some type of non human intelligence reaching out to them and making contact. Could happen, could not happen. But for those of us who are experiencers who have already received messages like telepathic contact from grays, mantids, any forms of non-human intelligence, God itself, messengers, um, or those of us who have seen orbs in the sky, or just craft, or just anything that's really strange, just any kind of paranormal phenomena, we know that we are in contact with something. We know that there is something that kind of pops in and pops out and gives us messages. And it's a question of, will they be here or will they come back? And so for a rare number of us, there are people who have constant, ongoing, daily contact where they have a complete control of kind of asking questions, tapping in, and getting responses from their guides or from beings that are with them all the time. So if you ask them a question like, what does your being, or what does your guide, or or if you can hear the voice of God, what does God think about this? Or is there a message from any of these forms of non-human intelligence? And for those people, like mediums and psychics and um, people who are really tuned in, they do have the capability of like saying like, give me a second, I'll try to see what's going on and see if there's any kind of message coming through. But for so many of us, especially of those of us who have had like face contact with grays or who see orbs in the sky, it's kind of more on and off, like flipping a switch of like there being high contact periods and then like no contact periods. So I am definitely in that camp of somebody who can't just say like, I have this wonderful gift that I can talk to them at will, and like, let me just close my eyes and see what I get, and there'll be something relevant given to me. So the reason that I was thinking about this today is because I was laying in bed meditating, and I was trying to get like some kind of message, any message that was relevant, meaningful, for a pretty long time. And the only thing that I really ended up seeing was a big concrete gray, like cube square, that was like the size of a building, like in the desert. So while I was meditating, like I felt almost like an astral projection, but I felt like my soul or my spirit, like kind of like falling backwards, like down through the bed. Like I felt myself like falling like through the air, and I was visually seeing that I was going to be falling back like onto this concrete box essentially that was humongous. Um, and so as I got closer to this building, it was like just kind of like winking out, like it faded out and then nothing happened. And so after I came out of the meditation, I was kind of just sitting with that imagery, and I was thinking like, well, what on earth did that mean? Is it like, I don't know if it was some kind of remote viewing astral travel that was happening, or if there was a message about this place, or if there was a message about the falling sensation. I've had falling sensations since I was a little kid, falling and spinning. But there was like kind of no message that I could come up with from this. Like I didn't feel like there was like any kind of being that was with me. I suppose I didn't feel like there was a gray or a guide or anybody that was like kind of with me, giving this to me, so that I would clearly know, well, you should have this communication. It was just blank. It was just left for me to kind of sit with it. And I was just really thinking about how like many days it's like I would have like something that was like really troubling me or bothering me, and I would kind of like sit with myself and say like, I could really use some type of comfort or some kind of message right now, and it wouldn't come. So I've spoken about this on here before, but I found that I have had, at least for the past few years, like really kind of like seasonal contact where throughout I would say like start to middle of spring through to the end of summer, it's like I have really strong contact. And most nights I can go outside on a clear night and I'll see orbs, and like I'll see literally physically with my own eyes, like beings or just like strange phenomena happening within my home. I'll have premonition dreams, and I'll have like communication dreams, and it's just like this huge burst of communications. And then the cold months come, and it's just almost nothing or completely nothing. And so I know that a lot of experiencers, they say that like, oh, well, my beings or my guide or God or whoever is just kind of like always there for me. I could feel that they're there for me when I'm going through something tough or when I really need help. And I've just found that there have been a lot of days where I've needed help or I've sought help, and it's just silence. And I think it's something to be really aware of, and to know that like everything is fine, and this is just how it works. Like these beings are autonomous just like we are, and like um, they don't have to give us answers. They don't have to work with us if they feel like we need to get through something by ourselves, through thinking it through going through kind of tough experiences. If it's meant for us to figure something out, they will let us figure it out. They won't step in and kind of mother us into saying, well, this is what will happen, or this is how you should handle it. Like instead, they just like say like no, you're an adult. Like I'm washing my hands clean of this, and I'm not going to be there to provide the kind of support that you may want that might make things easier. We all have our life paths, and um, on the journeys that we're on, we're meant to go through hardship and things that are really tough. And a lot of times it's like there is an intervention, and there aren't the experiences that we may want to be having that might make things easier or make things go more smoothly. And so I've been thinking about that a lot, and how kind of lately it's just like I've been having some like really big troubles, which again I won't get into here, but kind of like sitting and thinking like I could really use this help, and it's just like watching my watch and being like, is it coming? And like, no, I haven't seen it coming, and I would like to think that there would be some kind of assistance and that manifestation works and all that, but you know, sometimes we just build things into our life plans where we're meant to just go through hard things and come out the other side, no matter how long that might take, and no matter what kind of like really drastic circumstances might happen. And so I've been thinking about all this lately, and then I was also thinking about how, as I've been kind of like dealing with these issues, I suppose, I've looked over at my family, and I've seen that like my family are having like really big contact while I'm just kind of, I'm not getting much. I'm getting like these types of like meditation messages that are very hazy and strange. Um, and obviously still seeing orbs in the sky. And so in the past week, like both my husband and my son, they have seen like this pair of legs out of nowhere. Um, so yeah, a few days ago, laying in bed, and I was just like, I think reading something on my phone, and my son looked at me and he said like I'm scared, like there's somebody in here. And like I kind of know what he's talking about. Like pretty much year round, regardless of what time of year it is, I'll see like a shadow like walking by, or like a blob shadow going by. And so I thought he was just seeing another one of those, but he said like, no, I saw legs. And I was like where? And he like pointed like it was in this room, and so it was like off to like my right. He said that he saw like legs walking by over here. And I was like, that's really weird, but I mean, like we see stuff in here all the time. Like it's fine, you can go to sleep. And so that happened, and then I want to say probably within like 24 to 36 hours later, probably within 24 hours of that, um, my husband said he was downstairs by himself at night, and he was watching television, and he said that like while so like our TV is positioned like right near the stairwell that comes from like the bedroom area upstairs, like down into the living room. And he said that while he was watching TV, he caught something out of like the corner of his eye, and he said that it was like just a pair of legs descending down the stairs. And he said they were like very tall and very thin. And I asked him, I was like, does that mean that they were like not human? And he said, yeah. He was like, I don't know. He's like, I haven't seen anybody that has like legs that are that thin and like that tall. So it seemed like he probably saw what was essentially like a tall gray descending down the stairs. But he said that like when he flicked his eyes over to look directly at it, that it just kind of disappeared and it wasn't there anymore. Um, so I was just like thinking about how much activity has really been going on in my house, and it's not just one person; it's multiple people. And yeah, I was just thinking about like there was nothing that they were kind of putting out into the universe asking for, like, can I see something? Like, can I have some type of communication? Can I be shown that like something is here for support? Like both of them, it was just totally out of the blue. A little bit confusing, a slightly bit scary for both of them. It wasn't something that they particularly wanted. And so it's just funny. It's like they were telling me, like my son telling me as it was happening, and then my husband telling me like the day after, like the morning after it happened. And I was just like thinking, it's like, man, it's like every day I'm kind of like just like mentally setting myself up for like receiving communications, and just like, is there anything that you could tell me, and anything that would be helpful? And it's just like silence, or just like there's the strangest messages that I don't really know how to interpret. And meanwhile, it's like while that's happening, they literally have grays walking around that they're seeing and that are being shown to them. But even with the case of my son, I was in the room with him while he saw it, and I didn't see it because I wasn't looking over here. And I just found it really frustrating. But it's like I've had to kind of sit back and think about the fact that it's like I'm not owed anything. Like I'm like these beings don't answer to me; they answer to God, or they are God itself. And it's up to them to decide when we need communications or when we are meant to see them or receive communications. And yeah, so again, if somebody has like felt like, well, I used to have so many messages and so much support, and um, just so much information was being given to me, and I felt like I was being placed on the right track, and now I don't know what's going on. Like, I want to kind of say that I commiserate with you. I understand how it feels to kind of be it almost feels like being abandoned a bit. Like I'm not abandoned. I know that they're still here. The shadows are still going by. The orbs are still outside. But the contact that I'm receiving is not to the same extent that it had been in the past. And it seems like it comes in these bursts, and then nothing, and then bursts, and then nothing. And it's just something that if you are not somebody that has daily, ongoing, constant contact, this is just kind of the way things are. Um, and so, yeah, I wanted to kind of provide some support on here to say that, like, I know how it feels, and you'll get through it, and I'm sure that they will be back. It seems like there are things that happen in our lives that we don't know will be coming, and it's during those times where it's like the unexpected arrives, and like these big changes start to occur that it's like, what now? They're everywhere, and there's all different types of communication, and there's strange crafts that aren't just orbs, and there's grays or some kind of beings that are in the house, and you're seeing like light figures and like light beings, and they're showing up, and it's just they decide when that happens. It's out of your control. You can pray and you can ask for more communications, and prayer does work in a lot of cases where you pray like, could you please give me guidance on this, that, or whatever. But it tends to be very subtle and very quiet when there is a response, and it's not directly coming from them kind of hitting you up with a lot of different phenomena. um, yeah, the phenomena is very fickle, I would say. So also, for if anybody is watching this who isn't an experiencer and was thinking like, man, I'd sure like to have contact, I think it's worth mentioning that it's like we're not all like these kind of like mystical, magical people who can just say like on command, like, I want to know this, and then we just know it. Or I would love to see this, and I'm going to call this in, and I'm going to bring this in for everybody to see, like, and then it just happens. Like for a lot of this, that's not how it works. It'd be nice if it worked like that, but um, it typically does not. So even in cases like mine, and for most experiencers, it's kind of like you just sit back and you wait, and you see like when something is going to happen. And like it does seem like when they do step in heavily, it's because something major is about to happen, or it is like in the process of happening. So yeah, right now it seems like I'm in one of those kind of dull spots, I suppose, tough spots, things where things are stagnant, and until I get through the stagnancy, I'm sure that things are probably going to be very, very quiet on my end. Um, yeah, so if you're going through the same thing and you've noticed like, hey, I'm not getting a ton of contact, it's all right, it's fine. And if you are getting a lot of contact, and it might be overwhelming, just realize that like that will quiet down too. It's not going to be something that's going to be bombarding you and making you anxious and making you kind of feel out of sorts and ungrounded like that. That won't continue on and on. Like if there is some type of kundalini awakening or major activity that's going on, like it will subside. It will kind of like bubble itself down and bubble out. um, yeah, so thank you so much for listening today, and I hope this has been helpful in some way, even if it's just to kind of show you that there are other people going through what you're going through. Yeah, so I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.